penalty with like 40 seconds left that made it like 2nd and 20 or whatever. What was the thought process then? Was it still to attack, or was it to let's get to overtime? What was the discussion?
Well, in my mind, I was thinking still attack, but I think hindsight, it was get to overtime, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
How do you feel the offense played? And I guess in the third quarter, it felt like you really got in a rhythm. What did you see kind of change there for you guys?
Yeah, well, I don't know if something necessarily changed, but the guys brought in the second half, and the offensive line was doing a good job moving them, playing tough and physical, and I think some guys stepped up, made some big plays. Luke McCaffrey came in and made a great play, and it was a great play call as well, and I think that got things going in the right direction.
How tough was it in the fourth quarter after you sort of got some things going to be backed up 2 or 3 or 4 possessions in a row there?
Yeah, well, I don't think it helped, especially going against a really stout defense. They're very disciplined on that side of the ball, and I don't want that to be an excuse by any means, but it definitely makes it harder.
What's the biggest thing for you going forward? I know this is fresh, but what do you want to get done individually, and what does this team got to do over the next few months?
Yeah, well, my mind really isn't too far off of tonight for right now. I'm still feeling for the seniors and the tough game that we lost here today. Obviously, moving forward, we need to continue to progress and continue to work on our brand of football.
Adrian, is this team getting better?
I would say so, certainly.
Explain how you view the team and its progress from last year to this year.
Yeah, well, I think it's tough to see from the outside in because of the one-win difference, but on the inside we can tell the difference. We can tell just how far we've come and just how close we are to breaking through and truly being a good, solid football team. Obviously, 5-7 is not where we want to be as a program. I don't think anyone wants that, but we are close. We have progressed, and I think as a program internally, we can see that progression.
Were you surprised on that second down play on the last drive where you're told come out and McCaffrey goes in? Did that take you by surprise?
No. We had a package and things like that coming into the game, and I trust Coach Frost and I trust Luke. Luke's a good football player, and that was just part of our game plan going into it, and didn't take me by surprise. I just, do what the coaches were asking me to do, and at that time it was come out of the game.
Might seem like an obvious question, but can you quantify how much more difficult your job gets when a possession starts with a negative play on first down? It seemed like that happened several times.
Yeah, well, I think that falls on my shoulders. Part of it is, getting good plays on first down. I think it puts Coach Frost in a tough spot, and it puts our offense in general in a tough spot when you don't get positive plays to start a possession against a really solid defensive team.
How good's AJ at Vanessa?
He seemed pretty good to me, I have a lot of respect for him and a lot of respect for those guys on Iowa's defense. I think there's a reason why he's talked about as one of the top players in the country.
How was he affected? How was it down to down? How does number 94 affect you?
Well, it's not necessarily something where I go and think about him every single play. I think it's just part of their defense. I think he's dynamic and he does a good job rushing the passer. And obviously, a couple times he really rushed the mesh on some read option plays that affected the game.
It seemed like they had a better plan than Wisconsin. You guys gashed Wisconsin pretty good on those plays, but it seemed like Iowa adjusted. How good were they on the edge, stopping your guys' options?
I think at times they were really good, and other times we obviously gashed them a little bit too. But they had the film, they watched the tape again. They're a really disciplined unit, and that's what we were expecting. And it's just on us to enforce our will and make those plays work.
Over 2 years, you guys have been in a lot of close games, decided by 7 or fewer points. You've been on the wrong end of those about 2/3 of the time. What do you think it's going to take to reverse that trend and to win more of those games than you've lost?
Yeah, well, I think that's the key really right there, and that's just a mentality and the small things, the small things lead to big things, and I think it's easy to be able to say you could point to a few things in this game that would have changed the outcome, especially late. And I think that's been the case over this year, and you could probably say last year as well. And, those things need to get fixed, and we're working to fix them. We are. We see it, and we have a lot of guys returning, not to, diminish the seniors, but we know what we need to work on moving forward, and those small things is a big part of it.
Are you the kind of guy that wants to start fixing that stuff tomorrow? Or are you going to take some time maybe to reflect on what happened this season and a big picture, how to fix your game, the offense, and all that?
Yeah, well, I think guys need time to breathe a little bit, and I think that certainly means they need to reflect and look back on this season. I think that's important for our team learning, moving forward. And when the time comes, of course, we're going to jump on it and get going fast.
Did it feel like the game that you played against Iowa last year in some ways, etc.?
Sort of. I think this game was a little bit different. Obviously it kind of ended in the same result. But I think the way we had to try and win this game was a little different than last year.
Anything else for Adrian?
We've talked a lot of quarterbacks over the years. How was this season for you, just from an experiential standpoint?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was definitely tons of ups and downs, and it was a learning curve, and it didn't necessarily go the way that we planned as a team. But I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. I wouldn't change any of it. I think it's a part of God's plan, truly. And I wouldn't be anywhere else but here. I truly love Nebraska. I love this state. I love this program and this staff. And we want to be great. I want to be great for this team. And that's what I'm going to work to do moving forward. I think it's easy to say I wasn't great for my team, for the entirety of this year, and I'm going to continue to work on myself and work on this team to get where we need to be.
Could you describe the play where you went out of bounds there at the end? Just what did you wish you hadn't done that? Or did you
Yeah, well, yeah, I think the first question that was asked kind of pertained to that subject, and if you caught that answer, I'd give the same thing to you. I thought we were still in attack mode, and I think that's on me. I need to have better awareness and realize we're trying to force overtime there at the end.
Thanks.